What's up? What's up, guys? I'm hoping you're all fine. You had a blessed weekend. It was a nice weekend. Myself, I enjoyed it, but I'm hoping you all had a nice and a beautiful weekend. I could not be able to do the session on. I could not be able to do the session during the weekend. We didn't have any much volatility happening in the market. Up to now, we are still having zero volatility. So I'm fine. It's a new week. And myself, I'm thinking that the market makers are building their positions. It's either they are building their positions on shorts or they are building their position on long. So you can see the title is about the Fed rates and also the GDP outcome that is going to come out on Thursday. There will be an FOMC meeting tomorrow, and then there'll be the Fed rates coming out on Wednesday, and then the GDP rates will be coming out on Thursday. So that's the schedule of the week. So much volatility within the week, and also unemployment claims are also coming out this week. So uh, if I'm looking at the price of BTC, you're seeing a bit of some hovering. Some people are asking themselves, "Oh, we have been here for a long time. I think this is the bottom." Now you can look at the dollar, still pumping up 0.01%. It's still the dollar is still pumping. Let's look at the euro USD, not doing quite well, just a bit negative 0.04%, but the dollar yen is pumping at a 0.45%, and then gold is pumping at negative, is dumping at negative 0.61%, and then the rise of oil at 1.36%. There was an issue with the gas supply that has just been closed 2 hours ago to 1 hour ago, and that has made the price of oil and gas to the stocks within the oil and gas to skyrocket just a bit. There's just been a uh, temporary restructuring. I don't know with their I don't know anything. I don't know what the problem is, but there's just been a halt of producing gas within Germany. That's within Germany. So let me start with the BTC's price. So first of all, we are seeing BTC just dumping at all time frames. That is, first of all, it's testing at the 50, 100, and the 200 exponential moving average. And then we're having a completion of the relative strength index over here. We're having a completion relative strength index over here that is actually seems to be kind of bottoming out over here. Okay, so we might see a bottom of the relative strength index maybe at 30, but this doesn't tell us that you're moving bullish anytime, but we're seeing a bit of some bullishness divergence happening over here. This is at the price of 42 or 41.21. We're seeing a bit of some some inversion, not divergence, a bit of some inversion over there at the 41.21. So I'll want to start the session slowly by slowly. Slowly by slowly, just something a bit was just distracting me. So I'll just start something slowly by slowly, and we'll see where the price is. So I'm not saying I'm against the Bitcoin price pumping to $26,000 or $23,000 or 28 or 32K, or maybe $17,900 was the bottom of Bitcoin's price. All I'm just telling you guys is just that be careful with leveraging and trading. You as a trader need to know what is the catch if you're buying or scalping. Number one, are you trading or you're just buying on spot, seeing where the price of Bitcoin might end up to? You need to know the two calibers that you are into. So first of all, I'd like to start with Bitcoin's price. First of all, drop from here. Let's start with this. So this within the 4 hour time frame from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and to 5. Where will this 5 complete? This is from the highest point to the lowest point. Where will that 5 complete? And if you can be able to take it on the other side, this within the 4 hour time frame, let's delete this. Over here, we can see that we are being set up. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the question is over here. Now we are having from 0 to A. where will the A stop to? Did we have a bounce from at 21,824, 22,158, or 22,301? Where are we going to have that bounce from? Remember, we have some bit of some FUD that is out of the market. First of all, the Fed rates. The Fed rates will be it will be neutral at 75 basis point. If it's able to increase to 100 basis point, then that will kill the market, especially the equity markets. And the equity markets today, they are a bit confused because you're seeing a dump up to negative 0.005%. You're seeing a pump to 0.06%. So bit of a stagnating movement, waiting to see what will the news of this week take us to. Nasdaq dropping at negative 0.56%, Dow Jones pumping at 0.13%. If you can look at what is happening to the stocks are negative. Tesla is at negative 0.91%, Apple is at negative 0.43%. So a statement came from the White House just 4 hours ago stating that GDP doesn't really counter, the GDP earnings really doesn't counter if you're going onto a recession or not. So White House then plays recession fears ahead of upcoming GDP report. So while there's no steadfast rule governing what defines a recession in the US, it's commonly understood to be 2 consecutive quarters of GDP. That is on Q1, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Currently, we are at the half year. That is Q1 and Q2 earnings are going. Q2 earnings will be coming out. Q1 earning already came out, which is quite negative on the GDP. So you're having Q2. After the next 3 months, you're going to have Q3. After the next 3 months, you're going to have Q4. So, never in the history of our country have we had a recession where the economy was creating jobs, period. Let alone creating 400,000 jobs. These and Biden's other economic advisors are trying to use that squishy definition to argue that the economy is resilient, even if last week's CNN poll showed the public's view of the economy is the worst it's been in since 2011. So there's also another data that came out stating that six out of 10 Americans are now saying that the amount of cash that they're using on their paychecks, they are using from hand to mouth. 6 out of 10. So four are bit comfortable, 6 out of 10 are not comfortable. That means around on an average of 50 to 60% are simply not comfortable with the inflation that's happening in the globe. And with this FUD that's happening in the market, this can give us a hint as a trader. What does it tell you? It tells you that the GDP is being known up to on Thursday. They know what the GDP outcome is, and it might be negative to the market. This GDP might be negative to the market. So what happens when the GDP is negative to the market? Because you are already used with 75 basis point, 50 basis point, 100 basis point. Just 75 is the normal, and all the presidents of the Fed have simply suggested 75 basis point. What will happen is that we are having the stagnating movement over here. We're having a bit of some stagnating movement over here so that they can be able to build their longs, and they can also be able to build their shorts. First of all, you saw them building their longs. People are building their shorts on this zone at the price of 19,427, saying that you're going to $11,000. Same individuals were building their shorts at $19,100. What happened? Same individuals were saying now we're going to zero and we're dropping up to the price of $18,000. What happened? We pumped. They were building their longs. They were building their shorts. What happened? People started building their longs. They came back down to two second segment up to 19,053. They were building their longs from here. They didn't go short. They liquidated same individuals, and then they also liquidated the short. They liquidated the longs from here, went short, and then went long. So how much have they liquidated individuals on this range? They've liquidated individuals from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. So they have liquidated it seems 4 different times. They have liquidated some individuals thinking that you're going up, down, up, down. But those that never touched their investment or never touched their trade from their $19,000 level, they haven't lost anything. Apology for that. They haven't lost anything. We're simply having a W formation over here from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3. W formation completed. After finishing that W formation at the price of 21,740, we exploded to the price of 24,028. But we didn't have an M formation where we're pumping from 0 to 1 22, 23, 24, and then went below the 4, came back down and retested back to the price of 18,000 to $17,964. Now, moving back down to the price, stagnation, 24K. What happened? They were building their shorts, dropped 22,542 back to their support, went pump up again, 23,747, then came back down a bit again, $22,000, tested the previous support, which is now the resistance. We just tested it a bit up to 23,033, then fell back down to the 100 exponential moving average, which is the price of $21,925. So one-to-one session. So I'm going to draw a trend line from here, and then I'm going to draw another one from here. There it is. Now I'm looking at this range. Where will this bearish range clean at? Because what I'm seeing in this chart, I'm also seeing a support over here. This within the 4-hour time frame, I'm seeing a support over here. A bit. Yes, I'm seeing a support over there, and then I'm seeing a bearish divergence over here. But I'm seeing a bullish inversion over here at the relative strength index of 40.36. Sideways, but it's a bit inverting. But on the chart, it's diverging. So what's happening? This might be a hidden. I'm not saying you're going to pump, but I'm saying it might be a hidden bullish divergence. We are pumping, but there's a bearish divergence on the chart, but on our relative strength index and the rate of the MACD that I checked out, because I'm being limited on tools that I need to use, I'm seeing a bullish divergence that might happen on Bitcoin. The question is, where will this bullish divergence happen? Are we going to pump back to the price of $24,000, liquidate the shorts, then wells to be able to short their prices, to short their portfolio from here, bring us back down to $19,000? Might that happen? Because if you're able to break this bearish divergence over here, we'll be talking on a bullish trend line. So where will we break this bearish divergence at? At the same time, what is happening also to the equities, because also Bitcoin follows equity. You've just seen that we are on the green. All of a sudden, right now, we are on the red, negative 0.03%. We were at 0.03% before. Now we are at the negative. A bit of some confusion within the market. Where are equities taking us to? Where's the SP 500, S&P 500, Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones? Where are they taking us to as dollar is pumping back higher to 0.03%? This is a game that is normally done frequently, day by day in the charts. So you need to stop being emotional in the charts. I also myself, I need to stop being emotional and look at the trend. I also need to look at the macro. What is happening? Number one, GDP might come out negative. So the White House are simply telling themselves, it doesn't mean that when the Q2 earnings come out and it's negative, we're heading over to a recession. So they know the news it's negative. So why are they giving us a hint? That means it might be negative. Then what happens? The market tanks back down to maybe the price of $19,000, which can be a good retest for BTC. It's able to break the $19,000 level, then we are talking of further downtrend below the $18,000 level. We'll be testing even $15,000 level or $14,000 level. That is what we might be testing at. So, Fed rates, normal. GDP, an issue. And if GDP is negative, we'll be having negative segments over here within our equities. 1 hour time frame. I'm not giving the direction. This is not financial advice, only for entertainment purposes only. So I don't want to give any direction where it's heading to. I just need you to learn the games that are being played over here. If you can look at within the 1 hour time frame, look at the bearish trend line that was happening over here within the 1 hour time frame. I drew this earlier. Now we've been able to test that lower time frame of the relative strength index at 30. Bitcoin simply has been a bit oversold on the 30. relative strength index, because this is what I'm seeing. Look, over here we had a bounce, but you never came back down from date 11th up to today. So again, we had another bounce from here, and then you're having another bounce from here. If you can look at your chart keenly, okay, let me zoom this out. Look, we're having another bounce from here and another one from here. So this bounce from here, will it move above this bearish trend? Will it move above this trend line to make us move bullish? There was a bit of a trap at the relative strength index of 57 within the 1 hour time frame. We broke it, came back down. We had another retest over here at 58. We had another retest over here at 66. Now we are back down, but are seeing an inversion happening. Will we be able to break it? If we're able to break it, then I'll draw another trend line where I'll be saying, okay, this is the start, but you'll be jumping above those trend lines within the 1 hour time frame. So you're having a bit of some retest within the 1 hour time frame, but it seems a bit oversold, but you're having a bounce on the relative strength index at its lowest point where it normally is. This is at 30 to 28. So it arrived at 30 today, and now it wants to have that bounce. Where will that bounce take us to? Is it 20,300? Is it $22,000? Is it $25,000? I don't know. This is within the 1 hour time frame. So still bearish, but it's turning out to be bullish within the 1 hour time frame. Not complete. Let me just say between 10 to 20%. Then I'll be heading over to the 4 hour time frame. Same thing. We haven't bottomed out on the 4 hour time frame, but we are heading to the bottoming out on the 4 hour time frame. We haven't reached the list where it should be, and I'm not seeing any inversion on the 4 hour time frame. I'm not seeing any break trend line of the bearish trend lines that are on the charts or that are within our charts. I'm seeing the 0 to A, where this A, I don't know where this A will land at. I need to see where will the A land at. And by A, I mean the Elliott wave. Okay. Now from here, we'll be talking of the A's. 0, where will this A complete at? Is it over here? Will you have a bounce to B, then a rag to C? That's the big question. Because if this B is larger than the 5, then I'll be talking of a bull trap. If it's able to be normal, and then I can see a continuation of the line, then I will say this might be bullish for Bitcoin. If it doesn't, then I will say this is bearish. I'll be able to see the B coming above the 5. That's always the chart how it looks like. You can't tell me the fifth, the ABC Elliott wave will come above the fifth, the 0 to 5 Elliott wave. I need to see this B just coming back below, killing the shorts. After killing the shorts, then you might be seeing where the C will end up to. And after the people have now building their longs at the left segment of B, then we have that bit of a rag back down to even maybe $14,000 or even 0. But if you're able to have the B pumping above this, then I'll be 100% bearish on Bitcoin. I'll say this is a bull trap, guys. Be careful. And out is at the price that I want you to be careful. I want you to be careful at the price of $28,000. This is the largest that I can think you can go to. The largest. Same thing, we're there from 48K. When you arrived at 48K, people are dancing, hallelujah. We are going to $100,000. So the highest point I'm seeing is $28,000. That's around 30% increase from here. After that, I think we might have a major drop. But if I'm able to see the B coming here, having a bit of some retest, maybe completion of the C back down for the completion of the M formation, maybe we might have a bounce from here, go back, or stagnate here for a while. But if you can have the C now completing that pump, moving back up, then I will say this is a bull trap. This might be a healthy pump, just a normal healthy pump within the market. It will take time for them to liquidate the shorts or the longs in the market. So where will the A complete at? That's the main question. Where? Is it here? Is it here? Or is it here? As also it's dumping or trying to pump, also try to look at equities. Because today we are having a lot of volatility. Unemployment claims are coming out also. That is on Thursday. A lot of volatilities are happening this week. Anything, if you want to lose money this week, if you would want to lose money 100%, try trading on Wednesday. Try trading on Wednesday. The Fed might say something that is quite hawkish or too much bearish in the market, and you're going long with a high leverage. You might lose what you didn't expect to lose within a minute or 2 minutes. If they say something bearish and you're shorting the market, if they say something bullish and you're shorting the market, then you'll highly be liquidated in the market 100%. So what do? Wait for the meeting first of all to end. Give the market emotions to give the idea or absorb the idea of what they've had. Give it at least on an average of 20 to 30 minutes so that you can be able to know what's the next process. How are retailers reacting to the market? How are investors reacting to the market? Are investors bullish with the statement that Jerome Powell will be saying on Wednesday? Will he be bearish on the sentiment that he'll be mentioning on Wednesday? Then from there, remember, we are done with Jerome Powell. That will be maybe, I think, 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. It will be between I think 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. UK time. Within East African time, it will be around 9:30 p.m. So be careful with the trade that you will be doing within that day. Then remember exactly from the Fed meeting, you're moving over to the FOMs. You're moving over to the GDP earnings. What will be the GDP earnings be at the Q2? Will it be negative? Will it be positive? But we have gotten a hint that it might be negative by White House downplays recession fears ahead of upcoming GDP report. Why are they simply telling themselves that, okay, guys, it doesn't mean that we're going to a recession if it's negative? If the FOMC meeting is positive, which are expecting a neutral 75 basis point, that's good. If it says anything bearish, we dump. But if the GDP is quite negative, we'll dump more. But if the FMC meeting says something bullish, it's fine, neutral. But if the GDP earnings are negative, we might dump or we might pump, depending on if we believe on the government, the same thing that you're telling us that inflation is transitional. We'll able to believe that things will get better, especially next month. We'll be seeing the data of CPI coming back down. Because also remember that the consumers' confidence data is also coming out on Thursday. A lot of volatility within this week. Unemployment rate, consumer, the consumer data. You're also having Fed rates that are coming out, and then you're having the GDP rate that is coming out. So a lot of volatility this week. So be careful trading this week. I won't advise trading this week if you are quite an emotional person. Let things play out this week and start trading from next week before we have a reversal. Much of volatility happens between Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Less volatility between Mondays and Friday. That means low volume. But within Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have much volatility in the market. We're having much trades going up and much trades going down. With that put in mind, I like to talk about the rest of the altcoins before I go move back to Bitcoin as the last analysis that I would like to do. So I like to analyze Matic, Solana, and the DYDX. So I'll start with Matic. So Matic have partnered with Disney. Matic partnered with Disney, and it made Matic skyrocket. If you all know Disney, it made it skyrocket quite high. So I'm still keeping my ranges over here. I've never removed my ranges. I normally keep them over there. So we are seeing that retest there at the 50 exponential moving average with at the price of 0.83, and Matic is bouncing at that point carefully. We had the first bounce at 0.8051, pound back to 0.9096. Those are large resistance over there, quite sharp margins that we're having over there on those weeks. Came back down, almost had that price of 0.8051. Again, went back up, retested that resistance line at 0.9069, and then came back down to retest, almost retesting those 0.8051. This seems to be a redistribution stage, meaning accumulation stage for Matic before another leg up. Or whales or the market makers might be building their shorts, trying to bring within this range and then dragging us down to 0.5040. First of all, we are seeing it broke its bearish divergence within the relative strength index, and then it went sideways, but still moving back down. So not completed data yet. This within the 4-hour time frame. We haven't completed it yet. So if anything is negative within the market, if you're able to break 0.8051, ladies and gentlemen, on Matic, I'll be looking at the next target, largest next target at 0.6951. If it's able to break the price of 0.7763 on the micro meaning small. If you're able to break 0.7763, I'll be bearish on Matic and I'll be expecting back down to the price of 0.6951. This is on Matic, and that's the price that I'm expecting at. Anything other than that, I don't know. But if it's able to break 0.9069, I'll be bullish on Matic and I'll be looking at the price up to 1.0501. So let me label these so that all of you can be able to see. Maybe some of you are driving or something as you'll be watching this video. So let me help you out. So you can all see what I'm talking about. So if you're able to break the resistance at that line of 0.9069, I'll be looking at the price of $1.05. If it's able to break that, the support line at 0.8051, I'll be bearish up to $0.6951. And if I'm looking at that price, we'll be retesting that 200 exponential moving average at the 4-hour time frame. Next up, Solana. Most of you will want to buy Solana. So Solana, well, let me do a bit of some analysis here on Solana. Quite a nice test over here. So within this stage, first of all, this shady stage over here, I'm calling this a redistribution for Solana. So be careful over here. This chart line over here, I'll be calling this a redistribution of Solana. I'll be calling that the redistribution slash accumulation stage for Solana. Then we are seeing this as our resistance. Now 39.43 is at the resistance of Solana, 31.52 is at the support of Solana. If Solana has already broken it has already broken 39.43, heading over to 38.31 currently. If it's bearish, doesn't mean that it has to reach the price that we're looking at. So if I'm looking at this redistribution wealth, look at what happened over here. The pattern never changes, guys. It never changes. Look, pump, dump, pump, dump. Did we have the completion of the M formation? No. We didn't have the completion, because if we complete this M formation, we could be talking of the price. Let me change the color to something else that people can be able to see. I'll keep it at white. Look at this. Look at the chart that I'm talking about. M from here 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. That's the completion of the M. But we didn't have an M formation. We went bullish. We had the W formation from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 and then to 4. it broke out that W formation, not the M formation. And now we are having that bit of some retracement from the M formation. So same thing can also happen over here. We might dump, come back to retest the 31.52. That means if also Bitcoin is bearish. If Bitcoin continues dropping, I'll be looking at the price of 31.52 on Solana as the target to reach. That means I'll be shorting Solana up to the price of 31.52. From there, I'll be able to know what next for my decision after arriving at 31.52. If you're able to break that 1.52, then we might be looking further of even looking at lowest price that we've been at 27.19, which is the lowest that we've been on this bear market for Solana. 27.19 is the lowest that I'm looking at Solana. But I'm booking my profits at 31.52, looking for a potential a bit of some bounce, maybe even to 34, and then we come back down to 26.66 or even $27. If we are able to break that at 1.52, that will be simply liquidating the shorts that will be moving over the price of that 1.52 to the $32 price of Solana, and then a bit of some bounce, close my position, keeping my limit order, buy limit order there. So if I'm going short, I'll be gripping my buy limit order on long, buy Solana from that point, close my position, book my profits, look at what's going to happen next, back to the price maybe of 26 or $27, or maybe we might have another bounce to 38. So from there, I'll be able to look at the macro and also look at the analysis on the chart. What is the chart telling me? Is it telling me that after 31.52, we might have that bounce or not? Next up, on the bullish case that I'm looking at, on Solana is up at the price of 48.05. So we are at the support line over here, which if broken it is now a resistance. We are having a lot of resistance at 39.43 to $40. If we're able to pump up on Solana, I'll be looking at the price of $48, which is a 20% increase. And if you're if you're crashing back down to 31.52 from 39.43, I'm looking also down at the price of 20%. So choose which is your poison. Will you choose 20% up? Will you choose 20% down? And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing a session for you to understand where you need to put your emotions at. Understand the macro news first before getting onto any trade. Stop telling yourself that the trend is your friend. Yes, the trend is your friend, but what of the macro news? What if Russia decides to target US, for example? Today, what happens? There's nothing like the trend is your friend. You're going to crash down immediately, even maybe to Bitcoin at $5,000. So there's nothing like the trend is your friend. Always keep tabs with the macro news that is happening globally to be able to know. And that's why I always love keeping you guys up to date on what is happening rather than trading in blindly. This is on Solana. So you can choose. Take 20% up, take 20% down. I'm the worst financial advisor you'll ever meet out here. So choose which is your poison. Then you're moving over next to DYDX. So there might be bullish news on Solana that might take it up to $48. Same thing happened to Matic. Bullish news took it from the price of 0.55 back to the price of 0.90 or 0.95, almost arriving at $1. So something might happen. So choose your poison and look at the targets that I've simply talked of. DYDX always pumping. DYDX always pumping. So DYDX pumped from 1.16, came back to retest at 1.56, but it didn't have that completion back to the 1.16, came to retest at 1.30, then moved back up to that price of 2.038, came back down, tested the exponential moving average both on 50, 100, and 200, came back up, broke the resistance line, almost retested 2.782, then came back down. So I'm looking now, DYDX is back to the price that I am interested. This is nice. 2.040. This is an interested place to buy where I'm good at going long or I'm good at going short. And I'm seeing it's having a bit of some retest, especially at the 100 exponential moving average. Where, number one, we can see over here, we had a bounce after it tested the 100 exponential moving average. That is one. Number two, we're having another one over here. And then you're having another one over here. So I'm seeing there's something on DYDX on those bounces that is happening. I'm going to remove this those lines that I've just drawn currently. So I'm seeing a bit of some bounce from those zones. That means we might have a nice bounce from 2.038 back to the price of 2.782. So let me do an average and see how much percentage does it pump. Actually, I'm doing it for the first time, and from here, I'll take it up to wait pump. That's a 50%, 55% up. Let me see if it's the same chart analysis. If I'm able to take this, yeah, same 55%. Yeah, 55% from zero up to the highest point. So if you're able to have another 55% up from here, ladies and gentlemen, wow, it's even at the target price that I talked of, 2.782. Wow, nice. 2.782. You can look. We've drawn, let me repeat, we've drawn we've taken the chart from the 50 exponential moving average up to the highest that it was. So it came from the price of 1.409 to the price of 2.206 at 56.58%, pumping from the 50 exponential moving average. And then we have another one over here, the second one over here. Okay, I'm taking this and I'm putting it over here. So I'm seeing a pump from 1.745 up to the price of 2.542. And I'm taking the same chart and I'm putting it over here. I'm still seeing that pump up to the price of 2.7842 or 2.842. So it's the margin that I said I'm looking at the resistance at. That is at the price of 2.782, where I'll be keeping my buy limit. I'll be keeping my sell limit order because I'll be going long on the X, the Y. If it has already touched the price of 2.040, I'll be keeping my long up to 2.782, or I'll buy on spot up to the price of 2.782 and then close my position, and that will be another maybe 40% to 38% increase from the current price that it is at, if and only if equities are pumping and also Bitcoin is pumping. Look at the bearish divergence that is happening. I'm not seeing any I'm not seeing any inversion that's happening on the market. Good. So from this point of line to this, I'm not seeing it breaking any bearish trend line that I'm seeing over here. I'm not seeing any bullishness over here. I'm seeing it's trending with this range. I need a confirmation of a breakout, especially on the 4-hour time frame, to tell me yes, we are pumping above, guys. Then I'll be able to go long up to the price of 2.782. Currently, I'm not, so I'm still keeping an eye watch to see will it further break this support of 2.041, looking back down to the price of 1.561. But I'll not be booking my profits at the price of 1.561. I'll be looking at take my profits at the target of 1.646, which is a 20% decrease from the current price that it is, if it's able to break the $2.041 in price. That is where I'm looking at on DYDX. I'm done with that. Then lastly, I'm looking at BTC, is what I like to talk at last. And Bitcoin is the same as Ethereum. Please don't tell me to do the analysis on Ethereum. Bitcoin is the same as Ethereum. I won't want to keep this video longer than it should be. It will be quite boring. So whatever Bitcoin does, Ethereum will do the same. Ethereum just has just a bit of an increase of 2% to 3% because it is let me just say a semi altcoin, kinda semi altcoin. Also the bull king of altcoins. So we've pumped on Bitcoin. So we are now at the price of 21,966, and just look at what's happened. We are looking at negative 0.004%. We were looking at 0.0063%. And now you're seeing the price of the SP 500 at 0.34%. Wow. 0.35%. Quite fine, yeah? On what's happening on the SP 500. Dow Jones is pumping at 0.38%, and then Nasdaq is at negative 0.17%. So it's emotions, guys. It's emotions. Always take around 2 hours to be able to understand what next for the market. People are seeing negative 0.111% during the open. And what did they tell themselves? Oh, today it's negative. Let me short. Wow, that's nice. You are liquidated We are pumped 0.33%. What's happening to the price of Bitcoin currently? 21,958. So Bitcoin is normally the last thing to drop or pump if you never knew, because this is not a regulated market. This is an unregulated market. Yes, we haven't been moving because the market makers and the whales are keeping their position. Now, we are waiting for equities to move. After they've moved for some period of time, let's say even a week or 2 weeks, what happens? Then Bitcoin decides to drop 15% at once, continuously. Same thing that happened over here. You can see they were building their shorts. Look what happened. We're just ranging over here. How long did we range? How long did we range? We ranged for 31 days and 4 hours. We ranged that long. Let's take this up to here. How long have we ranged over here? Let me extend this line. We've ranged for 37 days. We haven't moved at all. So they might be keeping also their shorts, but just because that there's less volatility in the market, that's how it might take longer to drop or pump in the market. So there's something that the whales or the market makers are doing in the market. And this is if you look at this trend line over here, this is a bearish trend line that I've drawn on the weekly time frame. This is where I'm waiting to see where will we see that bounce. This trend line is what I'm talking of. This green trend line over here that is coming back down. Will we pump, then come down immediately to the price of $12,000 or $11,000 or $10,000, which will be between September? We might have that fall up to 9,267 the worst case scenario. If it's nearby within August, then we'll be talking of maybe $13,000, or maybe their target is dropping up to $12,000 or $11,000, or even worst case scenario on the mid-September, we might test the $8,605. Where are we going to bounce from? But it doesn't have to mean that we'll have to bounce from this bearish trend line all the time. No, no, no. We didn't bounce off at this zone over here at 17,000. $500. So let's see where that bounce will be heading over to. But the market makers might be building either their shorts or their longs from this position, and then you have one major bounce from the market. Look at the dollar pumping. The dollar is now just decreased a bit to negative 0.06%. What's happening with the stocks? They are a bit negative, except Netflix today at 0.23% on the main stocks. Oil is back pumping because whenever oil pumps, it's negative for BTC, if you never knew. If oil starts pumping, if energy commodity starts pumping, it's always negative to Bitcoin. They are not related at all. What will happen on the shorter time frame? I don't know, but all you need to do is be careful this week with all the news that are coming out. If you are an emotional trader, start trading next week. We're having a bit of some news on Wednesday with the FOMC meeting. We are having unemployment claims coming out on Thursday. We are having the consumer confidence data that's coming out on Thursday. And then you're having the GDP data that's coming out on Thursday. So be careful with the emotions that might drive you on the market. Then from Thursday, remember, we have less volatility in the market. And then what happens? You start trading with the emotions on Thursday and Friday. Then on Monday opens, things didn't go your way. You start losing money on your trading. So wait for the week to see how the week will end. I'll be doing with you guys a session on Wednesday and Thursday, seeing where the emotion is taking us on Bitcoin's price. Same thing to what is taking us also on the altcoins price. So those are the targets that I've looked at. I've already done analysis on altcoins. I've done analysis on Bitcoin. So the worst case scenario I've said, first of all, on the 4-hour time frame, we are now at the support level of BTC at 21,965. If you're able to break these negatively, people will be quite scared. And all those margins that came over here with retail traders, they might now dump to the lowest price, which I'll be talking of maybe testing up to $19,340 or maybe back to the $20,000 level before another reversal, a bit of some reversal, or we might be coming back down where people were waiting for $13,000 or $12,000 waiting for. So we are at the brink of do or die, between life and death at this point. So what the reason why the market is stagnating is because of the news that you're waiting for. So we'll see how it will turn up tomorrow, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And that's why we're also having low volatility on the equities at 0.24%, 0.26%. Last week we were seeing 1.4%, 2.3%. This week you're just seeing at 0 point, 0 point, and 0 point. So be careful. Be careful because these market makers are waiting for the news to dump on you, or they're going to crash you down or crash you up. Be careful with the news that are coming out. So that's it. So if I'm looking at the book map, uh, first of all, if I'm looking at the book map, this is the last thing that I'm doing. I'm still seeing orders at the price of $18,000. I'm still seeing orders at that price, and those orders are worth 452.8 BTC. If you can check my screen kindly, we are seeing those orders at 452.8, and then large selling orders at the price of $22,000. Look at this margin over here. Look at the margin of $22,000. They won't want us to break the $22,000 in price. Why? And then we are seeing low margins being built up at 21,500, which is worth 866.2 Bitcoin. And then another margin order at 752. So the reason why I'm telling you guys, the reason why they're waiting for the news is because they want to keep us within this range. They won't want us to go up. If you're nearing $20,000, they're keeping their liquidity there for us not to be able to break the $20,000. And then when we're coming back down, they're saying, oh, these guys are not going below 21,600 or 21,500. Let's keep them within this range so that we can be able to, we can crush those longs and those shorts at the same time. Or we'll have to make the longs pay or the shorts pay. You can see what's happening over here. So be very, very careful. Limit orders are not above $20,000. Limit orders are not below $21,500. I'm not seeing any large limit orders over here at the buying price, but I'm seeing orders at the $18,000 level and the $19,000 level. So be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Be very, very careful and wary for what the market makers are about to do this week, because they're about to bag some cash from longs and shorts. So with that, I like to leave you guys, and I like to say thank you all. Remember to like, share, and subscribe the channel. I'm grateful, and you can also share it to your friends, or you can also subscribe. If you didn't subscribe, please subscribe. If you like the content, you love the content, you can comment. I can also talk of other things about the market, but I really appreciate it. And I will say peace and have a blessed week and day. I'll be doing another session tomorrow. So bye bye.